Hello, how are you? Welcome again to another conversation with the Kenyan team. I am Wanjerin Daru. Today we are going to have a very exciting conversation with an artist and activist called Monaja, who has decided that rattling the system and disrupting is the way to be able to raise consciousness among the people. He has recently released a song that talks about the death of Baimungi and Chui, who were assassinated just after independence in what is considered betrayal of the Maumau by the establishment and the Kenyatta government at the time. Welcome, Monaja.
Wazi.
Poa sana kukuwa na wewe.
Niko poa sana. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time also. And
Asante.
for agreeing to come and share with us what it is that you're doing, the exciting things that you're doing to educate Kenyans about what their true history is about.
Asante. I'm grateful.
Yes.
Yeah.
So tell us who you are. Who is Monaja?
I am a performing and recording artist. I make music that speaks to human experiences. I also have an academic background with a huge grounding on history, Kenyan history in particular. And yeah, that's about it. I think we usually introduce ourselves with what we do.
Yes.
Yeah, our occupations and what brings food to the table.
Yeah.
But when you meet me, just in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You recently released a song.
Yeah.
A song that I'm sure for those people who are interested in history can be, raises a lot of emotion because for those who want to know the truth about the true history of this country, they'll resonate with what it is you are saying in that song. Can you talk to us a bit about it?
Okay. So ngoma yenyewe inaitwa Ntamboruki Ankoro. I did the song with Ameru crew. We worked together. It's Monaja and Ameru crew. The song is more or less, we are saying like Ntamboruki Ankoro in Kemeru means it's kind of soothe my heart, heal my heart, that kind of thing. So there's so many meanings when you translate our languages, our African languages to English. Haziingiani moja kwa moja saa zingine. So it more or less means soothe my heart. And the song, it comes from different angles, and one of the angles that we were revisiting was a political angle. So the music video more or less brings out that idea of Baimunge's murder. Baimunge, Chui was murdered, Baimunge was murdered, General Kyogo was murdered, another general called Gakengere was murdered. And we were trying to connect the past and the present. If you look at the video, we're trying to say, like trying to understand, why are we in this situation? Why is it that you have an elite that has so much wealth in their hands? Why is it that the most wealthy Kenyans are the political class? And why is it that these others are decent, don't have money, don't have wealth, are dispossessed? And yeah, so that was more or less the thrust of that song, of the video particularly.
Okay. I personally come from a Maumau background in terms of family.
Okay.
And growing up, the stories we had did not align with what we were taught in school. And the stories we had were from our grandfathers, our aunties and uncles who fought in the war against the British. And some of us became, especially, particularly me in the family, became a bit disillusioned about what our true history is. Why you would do a song like that, for me now brings out the issue of, are we telling Kenyans that our history is wrong? Was that the purpose of the song?
I don't think we set out to just like address that. I think because if you look at my verse, if you look at the chorus of the song, like when I was writing that chorus, I wasn't even thinking of anything political. It was like I was going through a situation with a friend. So I was like, hey, you're angry at a friend and you're like, amefanya hii kitu. So, but now the artist who I was working with, Ameru crew, and the angles that they took, it was like, okay, it actually makes sense that in fact, you've given this song much deeper meaning by coming from the idea of this person who was a freedom fighter and now the independence government calls him a terrorist, okay, and handles him in the same way. So the idea of it being political was on the moment. Like every artist had their verse. That artist chose to come up with that verse. Another artist chose to come up with questioning the idea of Gema and that sort of thing. But the video itself, we just had to feel, it had to go political. It had to be like, look, ultimately, the political is the most important. Everything is political. So, ndivyo iko.
Do you think it's important for Kenyans, especially the younger generations, to be able to understand the true history of this nation and connect why we are here now? Because if you look at the families that were the true and real Maumau, they're still, you know, most of them died in poverty. It has become generational. They lost their lands. I'm sure it also happened in the same way in Meru as it happened where I come from in Muranga. And what do you think would be the role of art, you know, in trying to rewrite our history? Because it needs to be rewritten and it needs to be retold.
Okay, so I think the first thing is what you've asked about the importance of the younger generation. I don't know kama mimi ni part of younger generation. Tunazeeka.
In Kenya, you're young until you're 75.
Sawa. Hata sisi tuko 50 youth vijana na kazi, si ndio?
Sisi tunakunjaga mashati tunajita youth.
Sawa basi. Na mataiza red.
Mataiza red.
Tutafanya hivyo. Hiyo ni project yetu 2027. Sasa I think it's usually not knowing why you're suffering it's dangerous. You know, so mtaa wapi like waswana katana waswana hiyo violence ya sometimes ujama alikuwa naita, there's a guy called Paulo Freire who called it horizontal violence. So nyinyi mnapigana wenyewe kwa wenyewe lakini hamwezi piga master politician, vitu kama hizo. Mtaa mtu ameiba anachomwa ama anapigwa na watu anakufa. But ikiwa ni scandal kwa gava, it's not that. So I think people have to know mbona tunapondana si wenyewe kwa level zetu. Why are people fighting the same level, which is called horizontal violence? Why are we suffering? Like for you, if you do not know why you're suffering, if the people do not know why they're suffering, then it becomes this idea of hii ni mambo ya Mungu tu. Si kila mtu anaweza kuwa tajiri. Hii ni mambo ya Mungu tu. Unaona? So the importance of these younger people, ama kila mtu tuseme, knowing the reason, the importance of history is to make these guys understand that this is why we're suffering. Hapa ndipo shida zetu zimeanzia. And then from there, now they can now say, okay, fine, if this is the root cause, how can we change it? Tunaweza rudi alafu tuangazia hayo. The role of art in illuminating these things. I think art has so many uses. Teaching history, certainly, because it's accessible. It's accessible. You know, like listening to music is different from listening to a lecture. Lecture is formal, mwalimu, but mziki ni kitu iko level yako. Utaimba tu, ukiwa kwa klabu, unajibamba, like you can relate with a song. Lakini lecture ni, sijui kujeni na vitabu andika. Hapana, music is spiritual. So, its importance, it's what makes it it's more accessible than anything else, than formal learning. So it has that higher ability of reaching to people, to people's minds, to people's hearts. I think beyond also showing what's wrong with power and how power is organized, kuna hiyo, as artists, we also need to give people a direction. Tunaenda wapi? You're not just supposed to say this is wrong with the society. I think, okay, you can, pia hiyo iko, lakini the best artists wanasemaga, tunaenda wapi? Hii dunia yenye tunapigania inakaaje? Na tufanye nini ili tufike hapo? Nacheki, what's the solution? Kenya sana sana upenda kutuuliza, you're just complaining, what is the solution? Unajua? But yeah, it's good to show like, so what is this ideal Africa, this ideal world that we should be living in? Inakaaje? How are women treated in that? How are the disabled treated in that? Are there any classes? Are there, kuna Lavington na Kangemi, kuna Muthaiga na Mathare huko, or is it everyone just has enough? Naona, so yeah, even.
So I've watched you over the years use the spoken word, poetry, music. I think I've watched you rap at some point. And you are one of the few activists, if I can call you that, because you are an activist, who uses art as a way of communicating. And though it is a powerful platform, how do you think it needs to be amplified? Because you look at even how I see, for instance, my friend Baimungi and Chui always talking about the importance of the arts and how the government is disregarding the arts, you know, and artistry in general. And that being a communicating tool, especially for younger people. And a lot of people tell us, you guys I'm choky kila saa, I'm choky. I mean, what drives you? What keeps you still doing the same thing and, you know, over and over again, bila ku give up? Kwa sababu watu wanaonaga, you know, I mean, where do you get your energy from?
I think my friend Dofan ashainiambia we need to love ourselves more. Yeah. Toxic masculinity yangu haiwezi kubali hiyo. Lakini when he means love, I think when I interpret the way it looks like, you have to love even your art. What do you relate with more? Ni usana ya Kenya, sana ya Kenya ama ya Maju, like who speaks your language? Unaona? And for the most part, it's of course the people who are next to you as artists. You know the question that you're asking on amplifying the art. So like, you need to understand that these artists are doing art. Art makes you human. Art makes you human. Art itachezwa kwa wedding, itachezwa hata tukienda maandamano itachezwa. It makes you human. So we have to love our artists. We have to love our art. Not just those who are there, but even the ones before. So for me, like, I certainly have to say, the people who have come before me, Ndungi Githuku, someone who I've learned from. I have to, unajua sasa ni, like, lazima ili nipende, lazima pia nipende mwenye nimetoa hii spirit kutoka, unajua. I have to love what kind of led me to do this, because I'm not the first person doing this. So you have to come and recognize when you are nyuma yako, alafu uendelee mbele, ufollow your tradition. Hata Githuku pengine kuna watu wenye walimtangulia, mwenye anapenda. I think Ukangara wa Njambi, yeah. So that's, I think we have to love ourselves, and that means loving our culture, loving our art, pushing our artists. If you have a friend who's an artist, please push more, because I mean, art, it's not an easy thing, like for you to, as an artist, to get by and to keep on doing what you're doing, because it's hard to get by as an artist. You need that support, I think, I feel. So yeah, that's the first thing. I think the second, what you've asked what keeps me going on. I mean, I'm also human. Sometimes I get tired, to be honest. I get tired sometimes. I don't want to say like I'm this strong person who, unaona. Sometimes I get tired. Saa zingine unakaa, hata unaangalia hali ya maisha yako, sema ningefanya hii, unajua. But who else is going to do it? Unakaa hivi unajiuliza like 20 years, 30 years, 40 years down the line. Pengine mjunior, mtu mwenye yuko in his 20s, wewe ulifanyia nini? Ulifanya nini ndio maisha yetu kakuwa poa? Because I remember that there's a time there are people who are saying, those guys who are in, I think about maybe 10 years ago, there are some friends of mine who are saying, what did those guys who were born in the 70s do? Unaona? Maybe they did not know some of them, but like, I just ask myself, so can I just be living? Is life just all about earning a living? Is life just all about fanya kazi, kuwa na familia, pata mshahara, retire, kufa? And then the cycle is life, is living, earning a living. Hiyo ndio swali yangu. Naona, so I guess you have to do something that goes beyond. I think we are human beings, and maybe the thing that maybe differentiates us from other beings is that we have an understanding, a deep understanding of the consequences of our actions. I think we know global warming, we know capitalism, we know hizo vitu zina affect dunia. So you're not like a duck. Unaona, you're not like, najua ng'ombe zinakuwaga zinatoa gas na zina cause global warming. So naona, like, they don't have any understanding of the environment. You know that you have the consequences for your actions. So wewe unafanya nini kama binadamu? So I guess that's where I draw my inspiration.
You've spoken about how it is assumed, rather, or we, especially as activists, and even you as an activist/artivist, watu wanafikiriaga sisi ni heroes, and you know, we are like those batteries that you see, that advert that keeps on going and going and going, which is not really the truth.
Yeah.
At times we are on the verge of giving up, ama tunataka kusema tumechoka. What do you do for your well-being? What do you do to make sure that, you know, you're still breathing and still fighting?
So kitu moja, najua hiyo, nakumbuka tushaibishana naye juu hiyo jina activist. Napenda nakwambia mimi si active. I think because me idea yangu ni I wish everyone, like I don't, singependa ikuwe a special group of people ndio wanaitwa hiyo jina.
Yes. Najua
ingekuwa Wakenya wote wako kwa demo au wote wataitwa activists. Unajua, so that's I would wish the idea of, because it's the idea of being an activist is everyone should be doing it.
True.
Unaona, it's what does a normal person do in a situation like that? They try to rectify. So actually, in my view, it's actually, activists are the most normal people. So everyone should be like the normal people. Ndio nasema, like kila mtu anafaa kuwa normal. Si ndio? Okay, ni kama nini? Ni kama ukiweka mkono juu ya moto, si unaungua? The normal person anafaa. So the same thing. Ukiona dozi na ibo hapa, sasa anafaa kuzusha. So we have exceptionalized the normal. That's why ndio kwa maana hiyo jina. Nevertheless, Kenya mi ufanya yani maybe kujipatia nguvu, like, so of course music, because pia kuandika pia muziki is therapeutic. Mi waga researcher pia, so like saa zingine nikeka research kando nianze kufanya muziki zangu, like nasikia roho kameingia. But pia like mimi ni mtu nature, like I like green spaces, I like trees, I like the grass. But sasa si kila mtu akona hiyo privilege. Unaona, juu sasa concrete jungle Nairobi, unaona, miti zinakatwa. So, but yeah, I think I don't want to prescribe a solution to everyone, but the essence of the soul is this world has all of the medicine. Wacha hizi ma buildings zenye tu, no, like the trees, the water, the herbs, the seeds, like that's all the solutions for all of your problems in this world, in my view. I don't think like tulieka kwa hii dunia alafu ati tutoke nje hii dunia ndio tupate solutions to our problems. So I think the essence is in nature.
Sasa si utuimbie kidogo.
Sawa.
Utuimbie kidogo hiyo chorus.
Okay.
Alafu tutranslateie.
Okay. Maroro nkoro nente weretwe ntena ukiri nontokwe we andangete mutwe na nkoro ndene na yamainge ni yanyera orito bumongone ntamborokia nkoro we ntamborokia nkoro we ntamborokia nkoro we ntamborokia Mbikereria kyompe inya korakera.
So what does that mean?
So it's Ntamboro Kiankoro is so kwa Kimeru yani roho inaweza kuwa iko like kutamborokia is like it's like kulainisha. So roho yako inaweza kuwa like it's kind of taken from the idea of ironing. Nkoro yamba kwethera neko thali yani your heart can feel like it's creased. So the metaphor is you've been hurt. So sasa yo kuntamborokia nkoro ni kumwira Murungu, kuambia Mungu yani nilainishie roho yangu alafu nipatie nguvu ya kusameheana. Nenkere bikereria kyo umpe inya korekera, nisikilie huruma, have mercy on me so that I have the energy to forgive. You give me that energy to forgive. So like have mercy on me, then give me the energy to forgive.
To forgive the mother of Baimungi and Chui.
So the way some of those artists presented their verses, it's like enye kenye ujamaa lipitia, venye familia yake ilipitia, like walikosewa. Unaona, so anasema nipatie nguvu yani kusamea watu. But inawezekana kweli, like venye wase walitendwa yani like kuwa mtu a breadwinner of a family. Tena if you actually do your research, the wife was never shown the body. Evangeline Modhoni, Baimunge's wife, was never shown the body. So she was even saying like, I mean like, show me where you guys buried him. Nionyeshe pali mlizika huyu jamaa. Kitu ya pili ni, the family itself, haikuwa poor, it's not like a wealthy family. You know, it was dispossessed. Like where they didn't even have land. So when you are asking God to give you the energy to forgive, you wonder like, wow, like, is this, and that's why the video is kind of addressing this. Will you give this person the energy to forgive, or will you right that injustice? Utajibu hiyo dhulma utaijibu. So it's kind of, yeah, forgive me, like, give me energy to forgive, lakini kenye nimepitia jo, sijui hata kana naweza sameana jo.
And that goes for all the true Maumau heroes that were never recognized, that lost their property, that generations later they're still in poverty.
Yeah.
But hopefully, with the continued education and consciousness that people like you and others are doing, history will write itself sometime, maybe, hopefully, soon.
I hope the generals Kyugu, the generals Chui, Baimunge, and the others who are not mentioned, because we only Kimathi,
our unnamed grandfathers.
Exactly. Cargo, who was burnt alive.
Yeah.
Kareba.
Yeah.
You know, so, and many others who did not know. And why is it that only certain people who are educated to a certain level know these names?
Yeah.
Kids are supposed to know these things.
Yes.
But now that shows the kind of society that we're living in. If those names were repressed,
yeah,
then it actually makes sense why Kenya is
the way it is.
The way it is.
Yeah.
Why it's an equal society. If you kill someone who was actually fighting for freedom and land, then definitely there's a land problem. Then definitely there's a freedom problem in Kenya. That's what it means.
Yes.
So,
wow. Thank you so much.
Asante Wanjeri.
Thank you so much for having a conversation with Kenyan.
Asante Kenyan.
It is not easy, but we have to wake up every day and soldier on.
Yeah, we do.
And you have to continue fighting in your way, using your arts, using your writing.
Yeah.
So we are really grateful for your time.
Asante
educating us. And the song.
And learning also. Hizo swali zenye nauliza pia zinanifanya nifikirie zaidi.
Yeah.
So
sawa, asante. Thank you so much.
Asante. Okay. Shukran Mwanjeri.
All right. Thank you again for joining us in another conversation with the Kenyan team. We had Monaja today, and we look forward to you joining us again in another episode coming soon. Thank you.